Although this may look like something from the medieval torture era, I guarantee you that it isn't. This is an awesome device to quickly and easily mark where to plant your seeds in the seed flats. So this is the same dimensions, 18 inches square, with dowels placed 2 1/4 inches apart. You take this, flip it over upside down when this box is filled with growing medium, press it down, lift it up, and you've got 64 perfectly placed holes to drop your seeds in and quickly get your plants planted. Let me go over in detail how I made this, and of course check all the links below for the supplies that I used so you can build your own. First of all, I still use the jig set up from my wife's chop saw to cut 18-inch strips just like I used here. Once I got all those 1x4s cut and also the 2x2 cut, 18 inches long, I then took some wood glue and ran a bead of wood glue across here, placed my, on the 2x2, placed my wood down there, lined everything up, and then used the brad nail driver to nail those in. Then, this is the important part, I had to measure the distance where to put these pegs. What I ended up doing in order to get 8 pegs in each row is I measured 1 1/8 inch in, and then from there I measured 2 1/4 inches across. It gets all these pegs lined up perfectly. I did use 1x4s here, however a 3/4 inch plywood would work very well also, and then you won't have to worry about your holes being where the slits are. Then I used my wife's hand drill press, put my drill on here, put a 1/2 inch drill bit in here, and then was able to drill all these holes so that they were straight up and down. I'm sure I could have done it without all the jig and the drill press and the other items, and without the saws, and just use a hand saw. It just makes things a little bit easier. Once I had all the holes drilled, I cut my 1/2 inch dowels 2 1/2 inches long, and I set up a jig on my wife's chop saw. Let me show you how I did that. Just put in a block of wood here. There's actually a scrap from the side of the seed flat. Clamped it on there, and so that I know every piece is going to be 2 1/2 inches long. After I had all my dowels cut, I then took my brother's small belt sander, tied it onto my wife's table saw, and used that to make all the points on the dowels. I then took some glue, put the glue on the end of the dowel and on the side, put about 3 dowels in, or maybe you can do a whole row. Took my hammer and then just hammered those down so they were all in a 1/2 inch, because all those holes are a 1/2 inch deep. So these dowels are all stick up 2 inches out of the wood. Now that they're all glued in, nice and solid, I'm ready to use this to quickly and easily mark the holes where to plant in my seed flats, which will make gardening much more enjoyable. Again, look below this video for the links for the different items I use, the wood, the dowels, the different hardware and so forth, if you're interested in making this project. I flipped the template over so you can see it the other side. I have the 2x2s here to obviously hold these together, but if you're going to use 3/4 inch plywood, you still may want to have 2x2s on the side, because I use these for handles when I'm going to be making the holes for the seeds. I've also seen where they have a 2x2 going across here, so they have a handle in the center. So whatever works for you. I don't think I need one in the center. I certainly can put one on there if I decide that I need to, but this is, I think, all that I need to have my template working well with the seed flats. If you do much gardening and you do plant your own seeds, like I mentioned in the previous video, there's a big advantage to doing so, because you can add at least an extra month of production from your plants by growing your own seeds a month before they go into the ground. You control the quality and the quantity, and it's pennies on the dollar from what you would spend at a nursery or big box store to buy plants. It's typical to spend $1 to $2 per plant Whereas when you grow them yourself, seeds cost pennies or fractions of pennies per plant. You have some costs in the hardware here, but that's lifelong. You'll be able to use these for years and years, probably decades. I hope this has helped you out in learning how to build the seed flat template to use it with your seed flats. This is part of the series of the Mittleider gardening method. Make sure you watch the other videos to learn the entire method and how you can have high yield, high nutrition, healthy, pest-resistant, disease-resistant plants in your backyard garden, on your acreage, or on your farm. This is LDS Prepper reminding you, if you are prepared, you shall not fear. And if you use this seed flat template, you'll be able to plant 64 seeds quickly and easily to get your garden started.